Hello, class. So this week's doodling exercise I'm going to be doing in Photoshop now that I've got my new Mac Mini set up, and we're going to be drawing on my Cintiq. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to first make sure that my default fill and stroke is set so black is on top. We'll be drawing with black, and I'm going to be using the Kyle Ultimate Pencil Hard Brush, which comes with Adobe Photoshop here. And sometimes I'll actually draw with this hard round pressure brush too, but I'm going to use this one for this doodling exercise. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doodling cubes. And we're going to be, like, if you don't know what we're talking about here yet, I'm talking about three-dimensional boxes, okay? So a cube. And the way a lot of people have learned to draw one is simply by drawing a rectangular shape or box shape, and then drawing another one behind it like this, and then actually connecting these lines up so that we get kind of a transparent kind of box. And we'll do one more here. We want to fill this whole entire page up of nothing but three-dimensional looking boxes, okay? Now this is one way to do it. Now the way I like to do it is this, is I will start off with a box shape, a square shape, okay? Well, actually it's more rectangular there. And then instead of drawing the other one in the back, I do this. I kind of draw these lines straight out like this, okay? And then I just kind of connect like this, and so I get a box. So we don't get the 3D looking box. So let's draw another one here. We're going to draw this one a little longer here. So it is definitely more of a rectangle. I'm just drawing these coming out this way, and we just connect it up like this, okay? And I'm not going to do any erasing. When you doodle, you shouldn't be erasing, really. I'm going to do this one just a little off here. And what I mean by that, it's a little bit at an angle. And we'll just run these back this way, okay? And then we'll come back in and we'll connect this up. And, a lot of times when you're drawing, it's good to just sort of draw through so that, I'm coming back in here, kind of improving that a little bit. I'm going to draw another one here. Go this way again, okay? And then we're going to, draw these lines coming out this way, okay? And then we go more parallel there and then try to be parallel to this line here. And that's how we draw cubes. And so it's very simple, but, I have a lot of illustration students that have a hard time drawing things in perspective from their imagination without using a horizon line and vanishing point. And really, you should be able to, if you're an artist, you should be able to sketch in perspective. And so this is what this is about here. And so I'm just, as you can see, if I'm not talking about, sometimes I can do a better job here. I'm just doodling here, and that's what we're going to be doing, filling this page up with nothing but three-dimensional cubes, and they can be at different angles. Like I'm going to do this one where it's kind of floating. That's because we're looking up underneath it, okay? We could just bring that line over there and fix that a little bit. Another way is, you can always start with a diamond shape. So if we start with a diamond shape, and then I'm going to be looking up underneath it, so I'm going to draw these lines straight up like this, then we can draw, a floating cube, okay? And, we draw them different sizes. You want to just get kind of used to drawing this. And if you make a mistake, that's fine. Just kind of keep going, because this is what we do with our doodling exercises. It's just sort of draw for fun. And even though this is a lot more complex than what we've been drawing before, after you get the hang of it, if you make a mistake, you just draw another one that's better, or you go back in and try to correct it. This can be drawn, this doodling exercise, even though I'm doing this in Photoshop on my Cintiq. You could be doing this on pencil and paper. And the reason why I switched to this week is because I was just getting so tired of the recording quality that I was getting out of that webcam. And I'm hoping this will be a lot better quality here. So, like I said, I'm just going to keep drawing here. And then on our second page, we're going to be drawing other three-dimensional shapes kind of based upon this. And so I'm going to kind of draw towards the end of the page here just to fill this up. Some of the, and you can always go back in and fix it. Now, one thing you can always do is if you're, I'm going to zoom in here just to show you, is if you're struggling with this, then just practice. If you've got a pencil here and you're say it's traditional, and you're trying to draw a box, just practice drawing a box, and then what we do is, without having to do the 3D looking transparent cube, we just draw those lines coming out, and then we just connect that up, okay? And so we can always sketch first a little bit when we doodle. It's like I'm just going to be kind of sketching lightly and then coming in and fixing this a little bit. See? And I'm going to be drawing through in some cases where it's just, the lines kind of go past, okay? This is kind of a technique. Now, the other thing is, I'm going to draw in at an angle here, so we'll just draw kind of a trapezoid shape here, okay? And then I'm going to draw lines coming off this way. And then we go this way, okay? And we finish that off. We can draw these any type of angle here, like if it's more extreme, we're looking down more on this side. Maybe this is a box, or maybe it's a book. Any kind of cube shape here. And just practice, This should come second nature after a while. And some of you probably are very good at it already, because after grading all of your drawing exercises and your doodling exercises, that is, and your projects, I can see some of you really have a good understanding of drawing, and some of you can probably draw three-dimensionally already. But this is something that, even if you're good at drawing, I think it's good to practice. I'm going to be drawing where we're looking up. So we're going to change the angle on that. And if that angle right here, see, we can always fix that a little bit. There we go. And these can be a little wobbly sometimes. And just, doodle, practice, practice, practice. And get used to drawing three-dimensional shapes, okay? And I'm going to zoom out a little bit in just a second here, since I've got a large section of this drawn out. And, after a while here, it just becomes mindless, just after you know what you're doing here. And if you're having trouble, just watch a little bit and see where the lines are, and then just practice. If you're doodling, basically, I want you to just be filling the page, and by the time you get to it, I can see some decent looking cubes. If some of them aren't good, if some of them don't look nice, then that's okay, because this is what doodling is about. You're trying to draw, and you're trying to just kind of let your mind roll, and just let your instincts take over, and just keep drawing. Like I said, maybe you can listen to me, or you can put on some music in the background while you're drawing cubes. And if you need to, practice drawing some straight lines, and don't be using a ruler. That's one thing, is you don't want to be using a ruler. And say, I can draw my straight lines any which way like this, and then kind of go back and sketch in here like this. That's a little wonky there, but we're not going to erase, We're just going to keep drawing, and just get used to drawing these three-dimensional shapes. See, I start off at different places sometimes, Maybe I might start off this way and then go this way. Because you want to be able to, like, if you're doing any rapid visualization of something that has a three-dimensional shape, you should be able to sit there and just sort of, crank it out really quickly if you're used to doodling these boxes, And like I said, some of these might not look nice, like that one didn't look too nice. But that's what doodling is all about, is we just kind of let ourselves go here. And let's see, we'll draw this where we're looking up underneath. I'm going to reposition my hand because my fingers are getting a little numb from holding that Cintiq pen a certain way. So I'm going to just sort of There we go. You got to be comfortable too. You know, I think that's so key when you're drawing because a lot of times I'll see people drawing and especially if you're trying to ink something. You know, if you're drawing with ink, you want to be or pen that is. You want to be comfortable. It is so key. That's one of the first things I go over when I'm teaching my illustration students how to ink. Is first you got to be able, so that you can be able to draw the lines you want to draw, but also just be comfortable where you're holding your paper or your sketchbook. We really want to have it resting. We want to have it resting somewhere. So, by the way, my Cintiq, I don't know if you guys know I think some of you may have Cintiqs. I'm not certain here, but if you have a Cintiq, one of the things is that when I bought mine, I decided not to go with their stand. I actually bought a swivel arm thing that attaches to my desk, and so I can rotate this thing at a very comfortable angle and bring it closer to me. So, it's so important with being comfortable when you're drawing because the way that the Cintiqs, are, when you buy one, they always have that, stand in the back, and it's so awkward to draw on that way. And when I was buying mine, I bought it off of Amazon, and they had this recommendation of buying this swivel arm thing to hold it. And I said, you know what? I've seen those at doctors' offices where they'll have the laptop on a swivel arm. And I said, okay, I'm buying that. And sure enough, boy, that's what it really works very well. So as you can see here, I've got a large part of this filled up, but I'm going to keep drawing here. We want to fill up this page, and it's just so important, to be able to sit. And if you need to take a break from this, go ahead. It's like that's the thing about filling up these pages. You may start one day and then, take a break and come back the next day and keep working, which is fine. Because like I've said in some of my other tutorials, when I sketch in my sketchbook, I'll start sketching and then I'll, put it down and I'll come back and start sketching back on top of it and just keep adding to it. But I just want to kind of keep drawing these things over and over again and just start drawing different shapes, different sizes, I seem to be drawing a lot of rectangles this way, so I'm going to change that up here. Taking a break here, so my hand's getting a little numb from holding that wrong. And so I'm going to be drawing like maybe it's a rectangle that's tall. Maybe it's a office building, and or maybe it's a cereal box. Or maybe it's a PC computer, desktop unit. So we're going to start drawing some of these this way. And just get used to drawing different shapes, different sizes, but come in here and if you make a mistake, that's okay, as I keep saying, that is what doodling is all about. Yeah, and the more you draw, the better you get at it, the more relaxed you are, and then if you take a break from drawing, sometimes you'll find it hard to draw, and that's why I'm having these doodling exercises because this is something I do. It's like a lot of times I get so frustrated if I'm trying to draw something and I haven't drawn in a while because I'm working on my classes or I've been distracted with other things in life, and then I go, I need to work on a project, and it's just like I can't draw. Well, one of the things I've done is I was working on this drawing of a knight, a close-up of a knight in armor, and I drew a really rough thumbnail sketch, and then I was trying to draw it in Procreate. Now you've been drawing usually with a pen in Procreate, and I wasn't getting the results I wanted. It just didn't feel right. So finally, I just switched to drawing with a pencil, and now I've gotten much more of what I'm looking for as far as because I'm actually shading with it. Now, when we're drawing these cubes, if you want to, I'm going to come back to a few of these, like maybe this one right here, and that's what I'm saying. You can always come back, but if we want to shade, we can shade too. learning how to shade something that makes it look somewhat three dimensional is easier when you're starting with a cube because if we're thinking about light, because that's how if this was a real box and we had light coming down at this angle, let's say I'm going to draw an arrow there, and then this would be the side where it would be all in shadow because light doesn't curve, it doesn't do anything like that. It goes straight. It can bounce, but then like what we would have is we would have three different sides here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shade this just lightly here, like this. I'm just doing hatching here. And so if you want to do this, this is great, exercise for where you get into shading. So see, this is how we can make a much more three-dimensional cube by doing a little shading here. And, if I was doing this where I wanted all these cubes to look like they're being shaded by the same light source, then I would want to, and I'm just kind of cross-hatching there. Then I would want the darkest shadows on the same side of every cube, okay? So like the darkest, because if I start switching it up where this front of the cube is the darkest, then it changes the angle of our light source. So anytime you're drawing and you're shading, and so like, for instance, this cube right here, if I wanted to make, if my light's coming out this angle, then this would be the absolute darkest side up underneath. Like that. And then come back in here, and this side would be like that, okay? So I hope that makes sense here. We'll just draw, okay? Actually, oops, I'm trying to move my paper around here. You can see how many I've drawn here. But let's say we have kind of a cube going this way again. And I'm going to just tilt my Cintiq so I can shade a little bit better this time. But if our light's coming from our upper left, then this would be the darkest side. Now I'm just hatching. I could do cross-hatching too if I want to, Now if you're having trouble enough drawing, you don't want to shade, that's fine. I just thought I'd get into this just to sort of introduce you to some shading here, okay? And then this side would be the brightest. The front side, that is. This side right here would be the brightest, okay? This side right here. And then this side would also be catching shadow, but if they're both the same darkness, it just begins to look very flat. So that's why, if you're shading a cube, a three-dimensional cube, then what we want is we want a lighter side, a mid-tone side, and the darkest side, okay? And that's what's going to make it look more three-dimensional, okay? So anyway, I'm going to just keep drawing cubes here after shading. So you might want to just practice doing a little shading there, okay? And I'm just going to get back into drawing cubes. And then I'm almost filled this page up. And when we talk about filling a page up, we want to try to make use out of every part of it. Okay, and let me see. Let me zoom out just a little bit, see how we're doing here. And see how many I've drawn there? I'll be just kind of rambling on here. And I'm going to start drawing up here. I'm going to start drawing these longer, taller ones because I just have a tendency when I'm drawing this is I'm drawing them and they're all kind of becoming the same. So I'm trying to make myself draw some different ones here, okay? See, that angle was a little wrong there. And we can draw a better one here. And if this one doesn't turn out better, then we can do another one, okay? So that's the thing about what I love about doodling is it doesn't have to be perfect. You're striving for perfection just by doing so much drawing. That's a little taller here. We'll draw another one here, and then we'll go out this way. Okay. I go right back to drawing that same kind of box because that just kind of comes natural to me. That's why I'm forcing myself to try to draw some things that are a little taller. Okay, and I just noticed that myself. It wasn't just like, oh, well, I need to talk about this. It's just that this seems to be happening because I'm looking at all my boxes and they're all about the same there. Okay, and see, we could be a little looser. I'm being really loose here. I'm kind of just really stacking these here. You know, and let's see how we're doing here. And so let's just kind of keep drawing these longer ones, or these taller ones, that is, until we get better at that. There we go. Now, I'm about to sneeze here. Allergies. I have my back door here open. So, anyway, let's just. I think I'm getting close to getting this filled up now. I'm going to zoom out here and we'll see. Okay, and like I said, some of these can be much better. I'm going to start with this way. Let's start drawing a diamond this way, and then I'm going to go down this way, and then draw this angle. It's just good to play with different angles. So let's zoom out here and see what we've got here. So I really recommend you fill up your page completely, and that means that you stop and you start the other page and then you come back. That's fine, okay? But anyway, I'm going to move on here, okay? If I can make myself, because sometimes I just kind of get lost in doodling and rambling on and talking to you guys, talking into this microphone, more or less talking to myself. So anyway, I just kind of keep doing it. All right, I'm going to stop. All right, so I would still like to fill that up a little bit more because I still got some spaces here, here. But anyway, let's move on, and I'm going to do another page here. Well, first of all, if I'm in Photoshop, in case you guys have never drawn in Photoshop, and you're thinking, okay, he's doing it, I want to do it too. We're going to save this as a JPEG here, okay, and we'll call this doodling cubes, okay, and I'm going to save it on my desktop there. We don't need to embed that. We'll save, and we'll just save it high, okay, maximum if you want to, all the way up. And so, now that's saved. Well, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do another one, okay? So I'm going to go File and New, and we're going to go over to Print, and we've got letter size up. I'm going to change my orientation so it's longer, okay, like this. And so on this page, we're going to practice drawing other types of shapes that are three-dimensional, okay? And I think one of the things we'll start off with is maybe a triangle, okay? Because with drawing a triangle three-dimensionally like this, that can become the roof of a house, okay? So we'll draw another one over here. And I'm going to zoom in and do some different sizes. The other thing is, if we want to make a house, just kind of sketch out a house. See that one line there just goes off. But I'm just ignoring that. And so this is the same kind of method for drawing a cube. The only difference is that this has a point to it, okay? So let's draw another house here. Okay, so we'll draw first, two parallel lines, and then one up underneath here, and then we draw kind of a triangular shape here, sitting on top. And then I'm just going to draw these lines going this way. We kind of want these lines parallel, if possible, so that they don't kind of start going off at an odd angle, okay? And then we go in and we can close this off, and see, that becomes more of a three-dimensional house, okay? Now, if we want to, we can angle this, and once you get better at drawing this house shape, okay? And see, I'm just changing the angle of this so we can draw all kinds of houses, okay? Let's zoom in here and draw some smaller ones as we are loosening up here, practicing drawing different shapes. Maybe what we draw is we draw a triangle here, but let's add a rectangle up underneath it so it becomes an arrow. And then let's add a little depth to it by just drawing these lines coming out. And then we'll connect that one, and that one, and that kind of becomes more of a three-dimensional arrow. Now let's draw one going down like this, okay? So just having fun here, you know? Because after drawing cubes, I want to draw some other things. And so I am still drawing a cube here, but I'm adding on to it because I've got this arrow that's pointing down. And if we need to draw through to help us see this, you can, okay? But let's say we got, an arrow going this way. Oops. I'll fix that there. And, we're not going to worry about erasing things, like I said before, because we're doodling. And so what I'm doing is I'm just drawing all these lines coming off of these corners. And see, this one we don't need to do, okay? And so now we'll just draw this line here. Draw that one line there, draw this line here, and then draw this line here, and then we got an arrow pointing this way, okay? So it's good to learn to draw three-dimensionally, okay? Now, I'm going to draw something else here. I'm going to draw kind of maybe a curved shape here. And, I don't know, this is a little awkward because I just sort of started drawing, but that is, I just started drawing this shape. But see, we can draw kind of a C shape there. Whoops. I undid. I'm cheating. Okay. And I'm trying to get you guys not to have to go back and erase things. But let's draw another one here. What I'm going to draw is, maybe it's a curved shape like this. Maybe it's kind of like a mushroom. Okay. And then we would draw this coming this way. And then if we're finishing this off on top, we would want this angle to come out, and this angle to come out, and then we would draw another curve this way, okay? And so, again, let's try to draw something. Whoops. I'm just drawing some different things here. Maybe this is like a roll of toilet paper, or tape. It's a roll of tape here. Now, it's just good to practice drawing different things, but let's go back to drawing more boxy shapes. We'll draw a T here, okay? I'm going to draw a T. And then we're going to draw all these lines going this way off the T, okay? And if you need one in here to help you see it, that's fine. But then what I'm doing is I'm going to go back in the back and draw this, okay? And so this will make this T look a little bit more three-dimensional, okay? And we could maybe practice drawing, different types of T's, like maybe this T has kind of a serif to it, or maybe it's more like a stencil T, and it's got all these little angles coming off of it. There we go. And then we just decide, which side we're going to see, and I'm going to draw it going this way, okay? So all these lines are coming out this way. Kind of want to make them all the same length. See, that one would keep going. And then I can start to kind of connect these up like this. And so we get more of a three-dimensional stencil T, okay? And, this is just good to learn how to draw things like this, Let's see here. I was trying to draw a G in my sketchbook. And so, the hardest thing to do is draw this curve. Oops, I'm going to undo. I'm sorry. I'm cheating. Here. Now, one thing is I'm going to try to stop cheating like this when I'm doodling, But I'm going to draw this coming out like this. Get that curve there, and then we'll do this curve here. And this is really, see, I need to practice this. See how bad this one is. That's good. It's that lets us know. So let's try this again here. I'll pull my Cintiq in a little closer with me, and I'm going to try to draw. And we'll just sketch this time. No undoing, none of that cheating stuff. Okay, when we're doodling. Okay, so we're going to get this shape right here. See, like this, and then I'm going to go this way and this way and this way. Okay, and then we're going to just have to practice. sketch, sketch by lightly drawing. I have some students in illustration that they can't sketch. They draw so heavy-handed. Sketching just means that you're drawing a little lighter and then you draw darker once you get the line you like. Okay? And so I'm just going to sketch out like this. This is more sketching than versus doodling because we're kind of laying down the groundwork of the lines. See that? Takes a little longer, of course, because we're trying to get that. Now let's see about, if this was coming out at this angle and this was coming out that angle, and then this would kind of go around this way, and then we draw a straight line this way, and then we go out this way, and then up on top, and then do this light curve. Just work on that curve here, just sketch it out. Okay, and then up underneath, we have to try to figure out, if it helps to draw through it, we can kind of draw through it there. See, that kind of helps us here. And we can just sort of sketch out this, okay? So I'm trying to sketch out this G here because I've got this on my mind. Like, okay, I got to draw. I tried to draw a G. I drew a horrible one. Let me see how much better that one is, okay? So that gives you a little hint of how to draw something that has curves in it, okay? But let's have some fun here, okay? So let me go back and get my brush here. And we could always kind of maybe draw some odd shapes like this. So I'm going to draw kind of an arrow shaped like that. And then if I'm going to make this three-dimensional, then everything kind of comes off of it. Okay? This is going to be a little awkward because if we were to draw this way, see, it's always kind of good to draw through if you need to. And that's something that you got to get used to is drawing through shapes. Okay, so let's see here. Been drawing a lot of different. Maybe we'll draw like an eye. So draw an eye shape out like this, and then pull this out this way. Draw this line going at this angle. So we can always go back in and kind of. And there's my eye, okay? If we need to, we can always draw like this, okay? So I'm just kind of drawing on top. But we can draw another one here, okay? Maybe this one, I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to undo, okay? I'm going to draw something kind of shaped like this. And then we're going to make this three-dimensional by drawing these lines out. Drawing out this way. Drawing that. Now, you can always draw through. See, I'm going to sketch a little bit to try to get this better. And then draw that straight down, okay? And see, these can be very rough because we're just practicing. We're practicing trying to draw things more three-dimensional, okay? So this time we'll draw kind of an odd shape that's kind of like an arrow, but not really, and then connect it up like this. Another shape we could draw is an L shape, like this, okay? And then we just draw these lines coming off. And the way I'm grading these things is I want you guys to just fill up your page, really, to try to, I know some of these things we were doing was much more abstract and just sort of free form, kind of mindless, which is what I was always calling. But this has got a lot more thought behind it because we're just trying to draw things, let's see here, that actually look like something. And that's the harder thing, okay? And so sometimes it doesn't always work. I'm going to draw another L here. Okay, and let me see, we'll back up here to what we got here. We're just going to keep drawing, okay? So like I can draw any kind of shape here, make it three-dimensional by just drawing lines out from it. So let's go back to my brush, and I'm thinking of drawing something kind of just really crazy here. Like maybe like this. You know. Right. So you think in terms of where would these lines go? If we're going this way, then we'd have a line going that way, a line going that way, a line going this way, and then we would repeat that curve, and repeat that curve. And if you were trying to see if there's anything over here, you could always go off here just to see, and you see that we would not see any of those sides, okay? But if you wanted to try to make it more three-dimensional, we can try to, where we're looking through it, we can do that, okay? See, that to me is a little bit more fun, a little bit more mindless, you know. It's just drawing these shapes. Okay, so that's an odd shape there, okay? So let me think in terms of maybe we're going to go this way with it, okay? And all I'm drawing is these lines going out this way. See that, and then here, we wouldn't see anything here, okay? And we wouldn't see anything here because as you can see, if I draw it here, and this was overlapping, okay? So it's cool to draw these different shapes, maybe just shape like this. Just practicing drawing odd shapes that have dimension, okay? And then maybe, I'm just going to draw a shape, maybe like that. Some of my lines are not going the right way, but it's close enough, So, let's say you're trying to draw kind of a simple shape like this. Okay, now we can draw lines out like this. I'm just playing right now, Okay. And we do an upside down T. And go this way with our lines. And I'm trying not to cheat. I'm trying not to go and undo. Because, if you're drawing on paper, you can't go and undo. Well, you can erase. But I'm trying to get you guys not to erase, okay? Now, the other thing, too, is drawing kind of an elliptical shape here. So we get a cylinder, okay? And so let's draw another one here. We'll draw another small one here, okay? And so if I was drawing a cylinder, I would do one ellipse, and then I would do a straight line down, and then I would curve it. Okay? Let's draw some more of these cylinders. We'll go over here. Okay? We'll start off with an elliptical shape, and then we draw straight lines coming down, and then we draw another elliptical shape. Okay? Up underneath it. And maybe this is like a battery, because what we can do is maybe we draw another kind of curvature there, and then we'll try to draw an elliptical shape here. I don't know. It's okay to have things mess up, because that's what doodling is all about, okay? So let's draw another one going this way. Okay. And it's just good to practice drawing different three-dimensional shapes, or shapes that kind of mimic three dimensions. Okay, let's zoom out here and see how we're doing here. And we just want to keep drawing, and just see where it takes us, okay? And like I said, if you need to take a break, you please do, and then come back to it later, And, maybe we draw something that's just so unusual, And then all my lines will be going off this way. And I'm just playing around here, drawing these odd, peculiar shapes, Let's see here. Let's draw something. Kind of drew something like this before. So just practicing, seeing, a lot of times you don't know what something looks like if you're trying to draw it until you draw it the wrong way, and then you go, okay, next time I'll draw it better. Maybe we got kind of a, I don't know, I'm trying to draw a tree shape here. I'm really screwing this up here. Ugh. Well, so that's what doodling is all about, is drawing things that don't look good sometimes. Okay, so let me try, you know, our triangular shape. There we go. And then we'll do it this way. And I'm going to try to draw some different angles of this too. So let me try something here. Or maybe we're drawing an arrow this way. So I'm going to draw, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my arrow go that way, okay? And just practice, We'll do another one here. Okay, so right here we'll draw an arrow going this way, and then actually, you know what? I'm going to try and draw it where maybe it's sort of through and behind that house a little bit, just to see where it takes us, okay? I'm not even going to finish that off there. I'm going to just leave that there, okay? Because that's the thing about doodling. You can start things off and say, okay, you know what? This is not going the way I wanted it, and I'm going to draw something else, okay? And so we're going to draw an odd shape like this, and then try to see what this would look like, you know? And maybe you draw an A. Draw an A shape, okay, and then add on to it to make it look more three-dimensional. Okay, so zoom out here and see how we're doing, and you know maybe this is an arrow which points this way, and this really expands. Like I said, you don't know until you try to draw it. If it looks crappy, then you try to draw it better, and then maybe you might give up and go, okay, I'm going to draw something else here. But that's what doodling is, okay? That is really what we're trying to get you guys. What I'm trying to get everybody in this class to do is to be able to draw things from your imagination and just see where it takes you, okay? And I don't know, maybe we'll draw another elliptical shape here. Just drawing three-dimensional shapes. We'll draw another cube here, just for drawing cubes, okay? And anyway, that's what we're doing, okay? So I still got some area to fill up here, but this I think should help you guys start doodling some things three-dimensionally. So you want your 2 pages of JPEGs, and these can be done in traditional media, or as you're seeing with me now, I'm drawing with Cintiq. But that will conclude my my little tutorial for the week.